Good evening. Welcome to the August 17th, 2015 meeting of the Gaston County Board of Education. I'm Kenny Luce, Chairman of the Board, and to my left is Vice Chair Mr. Ramsey. At this time, I would like the board members to introduce themselves, starting to my right, Mr. Dedman.
Chris Howe, South Point Township.
Mark Upchurch, Cherryville Township.
Good afternoon, Dot Guthrie, Gaston Township.
Catherine Roberts, Dallas Township.
Kevin Collier, River Bend Township.
Don Cherry, At-Large Township.
On behalf of the board, I would like to welcome everyone here to the meeting this evening. Our first order of business will be our invocation and the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag, and I would like to turn it over to Mr. Booker at this time.
Thank you, Mr. Lutz. Please join me in prayer. Father, we thank you for this day. We thank you for your foundation and continued faithfulness. As we prepare to begin a new school year, we give you thanks for the students and employees who are returning to school. We ask for your guidance today as we prepare to carry out the work of this school system. Lead us, give us wisdom and understanding so that we may be of service to our community. We look to you for guidance, direction, and we recognize the mercifulness you have bestowed on your people, and we ask that you continue to show favor to us. Amen.
Amen.
Please join me in rising for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, Mr. Booker. Our next order of business will be to adopt the agenda. I think everyone has had it sent to them electronically, and hopefully you've had time to look at it. And this will be an action item, and I will need that in the form of a motion. Yes, Ms. Cherry.
Make a motion that we approve the agenda as written.
Thank you.
I'll second that.
Thank you, Mr. Collier. I have a motion and I have a second. Any discussion? All in favor? And it is unanimous. Thank you very much. The next item is good news, and I will turn it back over to Mr. Booker.
Thank you, Mr. Lutz, members of the board. This is an exciting time tonight. You've got some folks here in the audience with us, and later Dr. Cook and his team will talk further about the program that we had this summer called Educators in the Workplace. There were over 20 teachers and guidance counselors who took part in this pilot program. And so tonight we wanted to just pause and recognize those businesses that participated with us. Many of you may know that former Superintendent Resa McGlowan works with the Chamber and their relationship between businesses and the school system, and he was instrumental in starting this program. We're very grateful. We have with us tonight Jeff Sanford, President of the Regional Chamber, as well as Ann Hosite, who is the Chairman of the Board for Gaston Regional Chamber. Their partnership was critical in performing this. So I'd like to invite forward Bill Cook as we present these plaques to the following businesses: American Eford, Caramont, the Gaston Gazette, Lanxess, Beam Construction, Firestone, ImageMark, and PSNC. And you'll hear a lot more about this later, but it was a great gift of the business community to us in their time. Our teachers spent time in these businesses, and it's going to have an impact on how they conduct themselves as we go forward. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
We'll bring them.
Yeah, they're coming.
Yep.
You'll have them up.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry I do not have names, but if the representative for American and Eford could come forward. Brett, do you have all the names for each one? Yeah, if you'll stay up front, because we're going to get a picture of everybody together. Caramont. If you'll stay forward.
Yeah, you got to stay.
Yep. The Gazette, please. Lanxess. Beam Construction. Firestone. Hey, Tony. ImageMark. ImageMark. and PSNC. And if you all hold your places, we also have a plaque to recognize the chamber and their leadership that they provided in putting this forth. Dr. Hoshide, if you can, you and Jeff. Super. Now one more round of pictures.
I'm shorter too.
If you all could join me in giving them a round of applause. Mr. Chairman, that is the good news for this part of the meeting.
Thank you, Mr. Booker. I think the board would like to give you another shout out. We do appreciate all the businesses that help Gaston County and our schools, and we appreciate you allowing our teachers to come in and administrators to come in and see what you actually do on a daily basis. It gives us a great insight for future education, and we would like to thank you very much. Thank you. Okay, the next item on our agenda is public expression. I think we've had one person sign up. Before we hear our public expression, I would like to outline the rules of this procedure. Citizens wishing to make comment and who have completed a request to speak form will be recognized by the chair and then requested to step to the microphone for their comments. Citizens will state their name, address for the record. Comments will be limited to 3 minutes when there are 2 or more speakers for an issue. The members of the board do not respond to public expression. Public expression does not allow for comments on confidential or personnel matters. The chair shall rule on all points of order during public expression. And we have one person signed up, and that would be Stowe Parker.
You ready for me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Well, I just think the Constitution of the United States should be taught more in school. And I have 10 pages here. I don't have time to read it all. You wouldn't allow that time anyway. So I'd like for you, each one of you, to have a page and study it. And then I have another opinion in reference to the Constitution. That's the public writing supporting my opinion, naturally. And then I have a piece that I wrote in the paper which supported my opinion. And I know y'all don't have time to read all of that now, but I'll stay here long enough for you to read some of it if you want me to respond to it or whatever you say. I would like to
you
have
can go ahead. We'll try to look at it as you're speaking.
Well, I don't have anything to say except that I think our Constitution is being violated, as I pointed out in that first page. I mean, Obamacare was not the first thing that was a violation. According to the Constitution, all legislation is supposed to originate in the House of Representatives. This legislation began, I think, in the Senate at the urging of the President. Of course, that wasn't the first violation, in my opinion. Social Security and unemployment is unconstitutional because it's not authorized in the Constitution. I get both of them, but it don't make them authorized, does it? There's just so many things. If you read the Constitution, and I think I pointed out in there somewhere, I got about 100 copies of the Constitution about 10, 12 years ago, and $1 a piece. So I think school system ought to be able to afford $1 per student, and the teachers should teach the basics of the Constitution. I don't think it'd take a whole lot of time to do it. It wouldn't take a full class study, but maybe 15 minutes a week or something. So I'll let y'all study that, and I'd like to have responses how y'all feel about it. Any questions for me?
No, sir, the board will not discuss that with you. That's part of you speaking.
I understand. Okay, well, thank you. I would appreciate a response.
Yes, sir, thank you very much. The next item on the agenda is the approval and correction of our minutes for the July 13th, 2015 meeting. I'm assuming everyone's had a chance to take a look at those, and that will need that in the form of a motion also. Yes, Ms. Cherry?
I move that we accept the minutes as read.
Thank you. I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Mr. Upchurch has seconded. Any discussion, corrections? All in favor? That is unanimous. Thank you very much. The next item is labeled Educators in the Workplace. I think we just had a little taste of that just a minute ago, but I'm going to ask for Dr. Cook to come up. He's got the next, about the next 6 or 7 things, so he'll be parked up here for a while.
I'll try to share that.
And he has a large group with him.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much, Chairman Lutz, Board of Ed members, and Superintendent Booker. And our Educators in the Workplace has been a wonderful partnership between our Chamber of Commerce, our Board of Education, our school system. It's just been a great opportunity for us to connect with businesses and for us to share in learning about our community. Mr. Buchanan and some other special guests with us this evening are going to share their firsthand experiences with you about what that week was like for our educators in the workplace. And one of the comments that really resonated with me, Mr. Buchanan and I met with our teachers and our career development coordinators on that Friday after they had been with our businesses. And one of the comments was, one of our counselors said, you know, I grew up in Gaston County, I went to school here, I've studied here, I've worked here for a while, and I never knew that we had so many of these businesses in our community. So it just shows that our leaders in the school, those who are, closest to our students, who are guiding them, need that information and need to know what's right here in Gaston County. So to our business representatives, we thank them for partnering with us and working with us so closely. They were awesome hosts, and you'll see from our slideshow tonight some of the great works and things that our teachers and educators got involved in. So I'll turn it over to Mr. Buchanan.
Thank you, sir. Like Dr. Cook just told you, this is an awesome experience. I wish I could go back and do it again. I learned a lot, and I felt like if I went back again to the exact same businesses, I would learn even more again. So it's an awesome opportunity, and I appreciate the businesses who afforded their time and place of business for us to come out and visit it. So good afternoon, members of the Board of Education, Chairman Lutz, Superintendent Booker. I'm the Career and Technical Education Director for Gaston County Schools. Before I begin talking about the details of the Educators in the Workplace initiative, I would just like to express my thanks and appreciation to the board, the Gaston County Chamber of Commerce, and the superintendent for allowing this initiative to take place. Like I said, it's an awesome opportunity, and we just are so thankful that you allowed this to happen and allowed all these educators to participate in this initiative. Just to give you a brief overview, there's 21 educators that participated over 5 days. There were 10 career development high school coordinators and 11 middle school counselors. We went in 2 separate buses and toured a total of 8 businesses over 4 days, 2 businesses per day. And the 5th day, we all assembled at the TRC just to discuss what we had learned and how we would get this information out to the students, the teachers, just all the stakeholders at the schools that our educators represented. We developed an action plan for that. We're going to meet 2 other times throughout the year just to see how our action plans are coming through and to see, what can we learn or improve on looking on into the future with this initiative. Now I'm going to show you some PowerPoint slides of just a quick caption of each business we visited and just tell you a few things that happened at that business we visited. First one was American Eford, the 2nd largest thread manufacturer in the world. Soon to be, I believe, could be the largest manufacturer in the world with a purchase they're looking at in Europe. We visited 2 of their local facilities here. And one of the things that struck me as so just amazing, exciting is these places were super clean, well-lit places. And when some of these places talk about the money they were starting to pay us, they were kind of enticing me. I didn't know if we needed all our educators, if they needed all our educators to hear this stuff. Sometimes I wanted to be like fingers in the ears. But it was a great opportunity. And one of the things I like, all these places we visited had benefits packages they offered, very competitive pay, and even American Eford, they had a full-time nurse that stayed on for the staff to visit, so it wouldn't take time away from the business and or the employees working there. Another thing that was seen across all the businesses we visited was the fact that the aging workforce is very prominent, even at all the other ones we visited, and they're looking to reinvest as far as to a younger workforce and planning out into the future. So they're looking to work closely with the school system, knowing that what we can provide with our graduates can help them looking into the future. The next business we visited was Caramont. Over 4,000 employees, the largest employer in the Gaston County. And they had, at that moment in time we were there, over 180 job opportunities that day were available right then, which was amazing. They had a buffet of career opportunities available from electrical technicians, HVAC, foods, maintenance, healthcare, and then if you look back to the school system, what we provide the CNA certifications, our NCCER construction certifications, our OSHA 10-hour safety certifications. So we are preparing our students for what these businesses are telling us they need when they want to strengthen their workforce. The next place of business we visited was the Gaston Gazette, and as you can see from this amazing 3-story printing press, that was the one thing that just kept everybody in awe. It takes 6 full-time technicians to constantly maintain and run this machine while it's running. And one thing that they told us that we didn't really understand, this thing cannot stop, it cannot break down. The newspapers have to go out. So that was just one of the things amazing. A lot of different job opportunities here, also graphics, business, marketing, all those things we prepare our students with when they look to graduate and look at potential job opportunities out there. Lanxess Engineering Plastics, one of the things that was surprising about Lanxess, it was a green field in 2012. So from 2012 to now, it's expanded, grew up from basically, like I said, a green field, and they're already expanding onto there. So they're looking to increase their workforce. A lot of technical opportunities available here for our students. The next business we visited, Beam Construction. Obviously, you can see they took us out on the job site, but one of the things the educators here were very excited to receive was a detailed pay scale of just what career came in at what pay scale, what level, from a journeyman carpenter to an advanced level carpenter, mason, electrician, HVAC, concrete finisher. I said, so it was refreshing to see, here's exactly what we offer, here's the pay scale that goes directly with what these students or career opportunities are available to them. So we enjoyed that about them. And one of the things that I remember specifically about Beam, they're really excited about starting some internship programs with us. So I'm looking forward to working closely with them and see if we can get something started up in our construction classes throughout the county. Firestone, they produce the cord and other reinforcing for the tires. Wanted to make sure I got that correctly because when everybody shows up, where are the tires? Yeah. There are no tires there. So, but they took us through the steps of the manufacturing process to put the making the reinforcing cord, all the career opportunities there. This is a huge facility, and it is actually heated and cooled, the whole facility. So, I mean, it's just huge. So as far as environment, nice, clean environment to work in, very competitive starting pay. That was one of the, it's sometimes you don't want these people to display these amounts to the educators you're bringing out there. One of the things that that we like the most about when we visited here, Firestone requires the work key certification for their applicants. We offer that to our CTE concentrators. So it's refreshing to hear that what we prepare them with is actually needed and wanted out there in the workforce. Next business we visited was Image Mark. This was truly an exciting and just eye-opening experience as far as the technology they had available, the things they could do graphically. So it's printing, advertising, whether it be paper printing-based or electronic web-based. We listened to some of the software pieces they use. They use a lot of Adobe-based products. So in our school system, we prepare our students with some Adobe certifications if a student picks that pathway in the school they're at. PSNC Energy, natural gas supplier, a lot of great opportunities here. Wonderful staff to work with, very informative. And one of the things I like about PNC, and it's actually throughout all the businesses we offered, there's always a way to advance once you came in the ground floor. So a lot of the administrative personnel we dealt with worked their way in from the ground floor. And this is not just at PSNC, Firestone, all the places we businesses we visited. So it's exciting just to see what's available for our students, future graduates, and to know that this is a true career. When they come into these businesses, they know that from what I saw and what we viewed, that when you come in, you work hard, that you can advance, you can get benefits, you can work in a nice, clean, safe environment and get a respectable career while you're there. Two participants we had in the Educators in the Workplace experience are here tonight just to share with you what they experienced personally. The first will be Christy Weaver. She's a career development coordinator from Forest View High School, and also Maurice Thomas, a middle school counselor from Southwest Middle School. I'll turn it over to Ms. Weaver to talk about her experience.
Good evening. Thank you for allowing me to be here to speak tonight. First of all, I want to thank Mr. Booker, Dr. Cook, Mr. Boone, Mr. Buchanan, and all those folks, and again with the Gastonia Regional Chamber, as well as those companies that were able to participate in this. I can't thank you enough. On behalf of the high school educators, I'm the person that's speaking for them tonight. But it's not often that you have an opportunity to meet on a level from a vice president, a president, a CFO, a CEO, folks that actually work on the floor on down, and to have that opportunity to speak with those and have that dialogue. I can't tell you how much we appreciated that. These companies certainly rolled out the red carpet for us. They treated us like royalty. We certainly were able to have dialogues with all of those folks. And again, to be able to come back and talk to the educators in our school, the career development coordinators were extremely excited to be able to do that. To have an opportunity again to meet with these folks and to have dialogues and to be back and to able to share this with our students. Not only the opportunities that are available in Gaston County, but international opportunities as well. I'm certainly thankful that I had this opportunity. We had folks when we came back who were asking us, how we saw that you guys were so excited about this opportunity and had so much fun. How do we get involved with this? So I do think that folks are excited, and I can't begin to say again how thankful I am to have been able to participate in this opportunity. So thank you to everyone, and again, thank you for allowing us to speak tonight.
Good evening. Again, I am Maurice Thomas. I am a school counselor at Southwest Middle School. First of all, I want to thank Superintendent Booker, the Board of Education, the Gaston County Regional Chamber of Commerce, as well as all of the businesses that were so hospitable to us and inviting us into their places of work. I come from this from the perspective of an outsider. I am not originally from Gaston County or Gastonia. I'm originally from Charleston, South Carolina, and not being familiar with the area, it was a great opportunity for me to know that there are so many opportunities for my students right here in the county that they are being born and raised in. I especially appreciated that they were so welcoming as to take us behind the scenes, to see all of the things that they are doing at their places of work, and letting us know that there are opportunities, whether it be an entry-level position all the way up into a college graduate here in these students-owned counties. So oftentimes I hear from my students that I want to move away. I would have to move away in order to make X amount of dollars, in order to be able to take care of my family. But they can have those opportunities here in Gaston County. So I think it was a great eye-opener for me to be able to go back to my students and let them know that you can make a difference right here in your own community by working in your own community and funneling those dollars back into your own community. Also, I learned that many of the businesses are looking for a lot of the same skills that we are teaching every day in our school system, whether that be saying yes ma'am and no ma'am, whether that be learning how to shake hands, whether that be just working as a team. And I'm finding that those things that we are teaching our students every day are making an impact and are preparing them better for the workforce. So again, I wanted to thank you all for the opportunity, and I hope that this is a program that continues to grow here in Gaston County. Thank you.
And this partnership would not have been possible and certainly wouldn't have come off with the ease that it did if it weren't for the Chamber. So I'd certainly like to invite Jeff and Ann if they'd like to say a few words on behalf of the Chamber at this time. And Jeff has been there as well as Ann, but Jeff has been great to work with and just a super individual, and Ann as well. So thank you.
Mr. Booker and Mr. Chair and Board of Education, thanks for having us here. And this recognition is certainly unexpected, and but it never hurts to have a attaboy or attagirl. And really, we're all to be commended. The businesses, the Chamber, the participants, and the visionaries on this board who helped make it possible. I learned something after the Chamber visited Franklin, Tennessee a couple years ago in an exchange. And the mantra was, so goes education, so goes economic development. And I'm in the second or third year of leadership that embraces that, owns it, and we believe it. And this is just hopefully the first of many programs getting students, educators, and even parents into our workplace to help them understand what's available in Gaston County. So thank you again, and the recognition is much appreciated.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, guys. I won't take too long because then we'll run into next year's program, and we don't want that. You know, the little certificates, which is great, and we really appreciate it. It says shaping our future, and we look at it from different ways. You know, we always think about it from reading, writing, arithmetic, all those kinds of things. But to be able to connect that with workforce and talent development, which is really a big mantra for us this year, and really every year, thanks to Dr. Hoscheid's leadership, we're really pushing that piece of the leadership ladder, if you will. We've got to provide an able, steady, and solid workforce for our businesses, not just the 8 that participated, which we're very thankful for, but for all businesses. And we have to think about how we connect the dots between what's already happening and what's going to happen in the future. And so this was a great opportunity to do that. We focus on kids a lot, but this is a great opportunity, thanks to these guys that were helping us behind me, in utilizing the educators as well. That piece of it is so important. People that have influence over our kids. It could be the parents, it could be the administration, it could be those of us in this room right now, or it could be our educators, which I guess are also represented in the room. We have to continue to focus on every aspect of that to make sure that our workforce and talent development continues to be strong. We couldn't have done it without you, so we appreciate that, and we appreciate hopefully a long ladder of success in making sure that our educators, but also our kids, are being focused on in the realm of workforce and talent development. So thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Are there any questions specifically related to the Educators in the Workplace initiative that took place?
Mr. Collier.
Not a question, but a comment.
Yes,
it is exciting to sit here as a board member and see these relationships develop between our business community and our educators. And they talk about all over the state how to address this, and to see what we're doing right here in Gaston County thrills me to death to sit here. And I just cannot say thank you enough to everybody.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, Mr. Howell.
I want to echo what Kevin said. I think it's a beginning, and I hope you hear what I'm saying in this, that it's the beginning of a great partnership. I've said ever since I subbed several years ago in the school system, and the first class that I subbed was an electrical trades class at Ashbrook, that if our students could ever see what's going on in the CTE world outside of school, if they could understand how fun it is to be involved in CNC machine tools, or the different opportunities that are there and the money that they can make even at that level, that they would begin to get excited about learning those different things they need to get to that spot. And I think we've talked about it on this board, that it feeds itself. So in other words, once they learn to do that, once they learn how to make the cord that goes into the tires, or once they learn how to control the gauges of the gas system, it's going to drive them back to school to learn how to do more, to get the advancement, to go higher. So in saying that, I would love to see, as this partnership grows, we find a way to incorporate the students into that. So the students can come back and be the voice for the industry, for the CTE, and not just the educators. Because I think the students influencing students is huge. So,
Agree.
Great job.
Thank you.
Yes, Ms. Guthrie.
I first heard about the program, the educational opportunity, I think last week. And I was certainly excited to hear that such a program was being offered here in our county. I want to thank all of the stakeholders for your involvement. What I saw and what I gleaned from tonight was thinking teachers, teaching thinkers. You are doing just that when you can empower yourselves with additional knowledge of what's happening in our county and the agencies and groups that are working together to enhance the quality of education in our county. You are truly preparing our professionals, and we don't have to go 20, 30 miles away. It's right here in our county. We are getting quality professional development and involvement that we need in order to support our classroom instruction. Excellence, that was the word that I was trying to say. Excellent in classroom instruction. From the guidance counselor's perspective, I heard you use manners and all of that. Those qualities are so important for our children as they prepare for their futures, and to be able to provide that type of leadership and prepare them on the ways that they need to go out in order to look their best, in order to get from the community what's offered to them. I applaud you, and I am just very excited, and I want to say to the chamber, I want to say to the superintendent, Dr. Cook, to each and every one of you, you are truly, truly creating a village of learners. Thank you.
Ms. Cherry?
I just want to add that what really excites me about this program is that you businesses, and I know that there are plenty others, you have an opportunity for all levels of our children, because everybody isn't college bound. My hope is that they will pursue higher learning, but we know that everybody's not college bound. And in your presentation, and I know a lot of these companies very well, there's an opportunity for all of them. And that excites me because I'd love for them to stay here. So that's very, very refreshing through the CTE program or just through regular school. And Maurice, I commend you. It's nice to hear thank you. It's nice to hear yes, ma'am, and no, sir. And I know that being a business person, and y'all like to hear it too. So it's great. Thank you, and I hope it continues.
Yes, Mr. Ramsey?
Yeah, as we move forward, Mr. Howe and I serve on the CTE Oversight Committee, and hopefully we can create that other part of the piece of the puzzle, connecting these pathways to jobs, careers for our graduates. When they graduate in June, they can start a job in July in Gaston County. So I just want to commend each and every one of y'all guys for your hard work, and look forward to moving forward with this.
Thank you very much. We do appreciate you. We appreciate Dr. Cook. We appreciate you and all your staff, all your help from all the teachers, the counselors, and everyone. And this is a very exciting time to see this partnership develop. I think it's something that this board has wanted to see for quite a long time, and I think that we're actually getting to see it develop, and I think it excites the entire board. And thank you very much. Yes, Ms. Guthrie.
We don't have time to congratulate our educators for the job that they do daily. We can't wait for Teacher Appreciation Week to say how much we appreciate what our teachers and professionals are doing in Gaston County. I think we owe them all right now a round of applause. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And I really want to say once again how much we appreciate the businesses and their support of public education. So thank you, businesses. Let's give them a round of applause again. Our next item on the agenda, Chairman Lutz, board members, and Superintendent Booker, is Camp Achieve 2015. I want to say, as I have Ms. Jody Edwards, one of our new directors, and Ms. Karen Minnick, who's our current Director of Exceptional Children, as you know, but was in this role, to come forward and join me to report out the results of Camp Achieve. I want to say thank you for your support, because this year, for the first time ever, we involved students in grades 1 and 2, the opportunity to have additional opportunities for focusing on their reading. So I'm going to have them come forward and share some of those wonderful results because of your support.
Good evening, Chairman Lutz and school board members and Superintendent Booker. We are excited to share Camp Achieve results with you tonight. I think that you will be pleased. This was a wonderful program. I want to remind you, to begin with, who are our targeted students. We had first, second, and third grade. These were struggling readers in first and second grade. And remember, that was because of you that first and second graders were able to come. Our third grade students were those students that did not meet good cause exemption, but we also opened it up to other students who had met good cause exemption. So we had approximately 1,100 students enrolled in our Camp Achieve, which was phenomenal. What were some of our strengths this year? Well, we know already that we have outstanding teachers in Gaston County. We looked at their track records to see what had they done in the past as far as growth. One thing that we really wanted were enthusiastic and motivated teachers. Why? Because you're getting those young'uns up in the middle of summer to come to summer camp. So we wanted those teachers to be enthusiastic and motivating. So we had some outstanding teachers. Another strength, we extended the day this year. Last year we went from 8 to 12. We added 2 hours, and that made a huge difference this year. We were able to do much more small group instruction and individualized instruction by adding that amount of time. And remember, these students were also fed breakfast and lunch. Some of these students may not have received that if they had not been at this camp. Another strength is that we partner with our technology department, TSS, and our curriculum facilitators and our instructional department and our technology facilitators collaborated together to come up with some phenomenal plans for these students. They did lots of integration with science and blend space and literacy, so everything made sense. So one of the most exciting things that I've heard from students and from teachers were the science labs. They were actually able to do hands-on science labs. This was also due to the extended day. That was not something that was separated, but it was integrated with that literacy, so it made sense. Another strength was poetry. Poetry is something that was very important. It was really increased this year. We know that those reluctant readers and those struggling readers are a lot of times they're hesitant to read out loud, and with poetry, with everyone reading together and doing that choral reading, they were able to build that self-confidence, and that's huge for our readers, to build that self-confidence. Also with poetry, because it's repetitive, because you're working with rhyme and you're working with word families, they were able to learn how to decode words, which we know if we build their fluency, that's going to in turn build that comprehension. So that was a huge strength this year as well.
Our media coordinators, our librarians, we not only partnered with those librarians in Gaston County Schools, but we also partner with our public libraries. So I love that community involvement there. They were very much involved this year. They were in charge of the interactive read aloud, and that's what some of these pictures are about, where our children were actually able to dress up like characters and really have fun with reading. Our students also were able to check out books daily from the library, so they were able to get that just right book. Another strength is that the students were the ones that were working. They were the ones that were learning. They were actively engaged in small group activities. This is an example of a word study activity that was that they were able to participate in this summer. That's very individualized to what they needed. What do we know about research? Research lets us know that students that get targeted instruction, reading instruction on their just right reading level, and they are able to have time to read independently, about 30 minutes a day. And if this goes on for 3 to 6 weeks, we're going to see growth. Well, that's exactly because of you. That's what we provided for our students this summer. So what does this let us know? What's the results? Does it work? First graders, now remember, they didn't have to come, but we had 294 enrolled in first grade. What were our results? The main thing we wanted to make sure that happened with this Camp Achieve was for our students not to regress. We know that during the summer, most students go back a couple reading levels, so our goal was, hey, let's let them maintain. Buddy, if they can maintain that reading level, we've done our job. Well, guess what, guys? They not only maintained, but they increased. 91% of those first graders maintained or increased during this summer reading. That was incredible. We were so excited about those results. What happened with second grade? Well, second grade we had about 344 enrolled. Those students maintained or increased. 87% of those students maintained or increased. So these were great results. Third grade, that's that big grade. Remember, this was the children that really needed to go because of Read to Achieve. So we had around 520 students enrolled in third grade. We had 89% of those third graders maintain or increase. And this is that M class where they had to take that reading assessment. If they made a level P during the summer, then they moved on to fourth grade. So they were no longer a transitional student. Now, if this had not taken place, this right here would not have happened. 116 of those students made a good cause exemption, so now they are fourth grade students going into fourth grade. So, wow, that is wonderful. Those students that did not make the M class, good cause exemption, took that Read to Achieve assessment. So how many took the Read to Achieve assessment? About 352 students. Out of that, last year, guys, we had 0 to pass that assessment. This year, we had 28 pass that assessment. And remember, that's like the end of grade test. So it is very rigorous and very hard. So we had 28. So in total, we had 144 now that we're going to have to go into fourth grade as a transitional student. Now they're fourth graders. So we are so pleased with that. So what are our next steps? One thing we really want to do is we want to work with our accountability department to look at our scores from last year at the end of the year and look at the scores when they come back at the beginning of the year. And we want to compare those students who went to summer camp, to Camp Achieve, and those who did not. So we're hopefully to give you even better results or some more detailed results at a later date. Student placement. Now, I would love to stand here and say we had 100% of our students to meet good cause exemption with Read to Achieve, but we didn't. We still have some that are going in as transitional students into fourth grade. Well, we know who they are, and we know where they are, and we have an individualized learning path for them because we're not done with them. We want them to continue to grow, so we have a plan for them. wanted to really express our thanks to you, and this is exciting to me. I just came out of the school as a principal. I taught for 19 years. So these children they're our heart, and you really showed that by supporting our first and second graders especially. Do you realize that next Monday you're going to have about 1,000 students that's going to be entering into our school buildings that's more prepared for grade level than if we had not done this program? And I would like to say thank you to our board, thank you to our superintendent for that support. Questions?
Yes.
I don't have a question. I brought this up in our curriculum meeting, but I just wanted to make sure the board was aware that all the parents that I spoke to specifically about this camp had nothing but compliments for it. And they were so excited to see their children excited about reading because they were struggling, and it just built their confidence up. I think the extended hours helped tremendously, and I just want to say thank you to everyone who had a part of this camp, because you can see from what you've just shown us, it was a great success, so thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Dedman?
I'd like to echo that also, and thank you, but I want to say one thing to Ms. Edwards. I wished I had a principal like you when I was a student. I love your passion, I love your excitement, and I know that you will blend that down to the people that you work with, and therefore to go to the students, but you do a great job, and thank you.
Thank you very much. I love what I do.
I know you do.
Ms. Guthrie?
I love the presentation, of course. The theme for the reading program this year was every hero has a story. You are truly, everyone involved in the summer enrichment program are truly heroes. And it sounds to me like you're going to use the data that you pulled from this summer's attendance and reports to track and to monitor closely those children. Already you have a long-range plan in place, and we greatly appreciate it. I want to applaud you, and of course, I love the librarians, and I want to thank them for their contribution as well, but seriously, awesome report showing us what we can do during the summer with a little love, lots of resources, a committed department. You're just elevating our students, and we appreciate that. No child left behind. Thank you.
Thank you. And I would like to say Carrie Minnick and Shannon Hoyle were the ones that really put a lot of this in place and really worked very, very hard and diligently also on this program.
And again, we applaud everyone.
Yes, Mr. Collier?
I echo many of the board members' comments. But I sit here and think about what happened to those children in previous years. And I'm excited that we're tracking the data so that we can see what kind of success we'll have. But I can't help sit here and think about all the other kids in those transitions that end up set up for failure and fall by the wayside because they didn't have these opportunities. And I hope this proves to be a great success story, and that we're able to, through data, intervene and grab these kids and for lack of better words, save them. Thank you.
And again, I just want to reiterate on behalf of the division, I know the school system, each of you, the commitment that you made to host these summer camps and to provide that opportunity. We really greatly appreciate it. And I think we'd be remiss if we didn't say thank you to every teacher, every media coordinator, every parent who took the time to send their child to our summer camp, and for our teachers who worked so hard this summer to make sure that those children. So thank you again, and thank you to those folks who were engaged. Another opportunity we want to thank you for, and want to have Dr. Bullard to come and share a little bit, is Bit of Hope. I know many of you are familiar with that opportunity. We want to share kind of some of that success with that. So Dr. Bullard.
Good evening, Chairman Lutz, board members, Superintendent Booker. I am excited to be here to talk to you about our Bit of Hope Camp. This is our third annual Bit of Hope Camp that we have been able to offer our students of Gaston County. And this is the favorite part of my summer of what we're doing for our children at Bit of Hope. Our students are able to participate in this camp for a week. It's Monday through Thursday, and they're able to go to the ranch, to the Bit of Hope Ranch, and participate free of charge to the students. And I have laughed with my colleagues about, I want to say that on every slide, free of charge to our students, that they are able to participate in this camp. We were able to have 150 students go to the ranch this summer. It was an instructional focus, an Explorers Summer Adventure Camp, and their instructional focus was literacy, social studies, science, but all of that was embedded in character education skills. So all of that was wrapped into integrity, honesty, kindness, those kinds of things that we were talking about earlier, about what we're teaching our children outside of just the book work. Those kinds of things were what we were able to instill in the students through the camp. Also, our students were able to leave the camp with a backpack full of school supplies for every student that attended. So when we talk about inspiring success, looking at a lifetime of learning, those are the kind of things I think that all come together for our students. We had rave reviews from our campers, from our parents, from the ranch coordinators there. We've had rave reviews for them, so we are excited to present that to you and to offer this to our students at these schools. Questions?
Any questions?
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Bullard. I'll ask, we wanted to also look at the other end of the spectrum. So Ms. Resa Hoyle, who has worked with our Academically and Intellectually Gifted program, is going to share with you some of the writing work that was done at the high school. So Ms. Hoyle.
Good evening, Chairman Lutz, members of the board, Superintendent Booker. At this summer, we were able to provide an opportunity for AP students, and the students this summer, were able to participate in a summer writing institute. The students were attended a 2 4-day camps. They could choose either of the 2 weeks. They participated from 9 o'clock in the morning until noon, and they could attend on July 27th, or they could attend on August 3rd. While the students were in class, they also had an instructional focus, and this opportunity was focused around general writing conventions and effective writing strategies, also essay writing for their college applications. Those of us who have children who have gone through this process know how tedious that is, and so giving the students an opportunity to work on an actual written essay that they could complete and actually use for their college application in the fall was the main focus for these children. The students also were able to develop a relationship with the teacher that did our summer camp, and that was Mr. Chad McAllister at Ashbrook High School. And he worked with those students, and we know in education that so much of what we do is about the relationship. And the students, when I went and spoke with them, were able to talk to me about, first of all, they were glad to be there. They said 12 o'clock came quickly. They didn't realize they were there working, and then it would be time to go home. But they were also very pleased and proud that they felt like they had developed a relationship with Mr. McAllister, that they would continue to be able to access him as a resource for their writing as they went on through this school year. Also, while they were there at the AP Summer Writing Institute, they were able to hear from counselors. A couple of counselors spoke to them about just key ideas, letters of recommendation, what to ask for, how to approach anyone that they would ask for a letter of recommendation about. So we felt like that was a great opportunity. We hope to be able to continue that in the years ahead and grow that program year after year. Any questions?
Any questions? Mr. Dedman?
How many students were involved in the writing workshop?
This summer, we had 11 participants, and what we shared with the board committee was that while we worked very diligently to try to get as many participants as possible, it's a little more challenging to get those high school students to want to participate in anything summer. And so, in fact, in my personal conversation with them, I asked them, what could we do? How could we increase this? And lots of them said, my mother made me come. Of course, we know how mothers are. We make sure they come. But the other thing that the board committee challenged us to do was to create a Gaston County Schools Summer Opportunity Calendar to be put in place so that our students and families see it early at the end of this year. So we'll make sure that we get that word out in as many ways as possible for next year.
Mr. Collier?
Was the instruction set up so it wouldn't, that, how do I ask this? If I was going on vacation and I'm participating and I missed a week or a time, I could still come in and still gain from the course?
Absolutely. We actually, one of the things that we thought about when we were trying to come up with the writing camp is when is the best time to have this for students in the summer. So we landed on 2 back-to-back weeks, hoping that the large amount of the population wouldn't have a 2-week vacation, hoping that one of the 2 weeks would be an opportunity for most. And we also made sure that we had one prior to athletics or any of those last-minute back-to-school things that happen in August. So we tried to make sure of that. We also, one of the pieces that they had to participate in as the registration process was to submit a couple of paragraph documentation so that they could submit some of their own writing. Didn't have to be something new, could be something that they turned in to give Mr. McAllister some kind of idea of where all of the children were, so we had a good basis for understanding where to start.
Is there any opportunity this could be done online? Are we doing, I'm not on the curriculum committee, so I'm just thinking out loud right now, but I'm just trying to think that this is a wonderful opportunity, and I would love to see more participation as you. And so I was just trying to think of any ideas online, submitting papers online and getting feedback. I'm just...
Well, you know, we're always open to new ideas, and we've looked at a lot of different opportunities as far as doing things online in a lot of different areas. I don't see any reason why we couldn't pursue it in this one as well.
Yes, Ms. Roberts?
I would like to add that in our committee meeting, we brought up, we would love for this to be open not only to AP students, but to all eventually.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, members of the board, as we transition, that's a lot of the summer report out. I think we should pause and remember we had other things going on at our schools, and all of these different host schools, summer feeding sites, the reading camps, the AP camp, and numerous other camps. Our schools, the administration there, their custodial staff, they adjusted their schedules to be host. And so we really appreciate the way the team effort and our schools working to do that, because they all had to be ready for today when teachers came back, but they gave their valuable time to support this. And so it's a big whole school system effort on these.
Thank you, Mr. Booker. And you're right. Each of these efforts required a team effort and a lot of people working on these. And even though the folks who are speaking tonight were directly involved, they certainly were part of a bigger picture. And so we thank you. And I just again want to say thank you to this board for those efforts that you just supported for this summer to make sure that students in Gaston County Schools are better prepared today than they were earlier. So thank you very, very much. We appreciate it. An event or an item, our next item on the agenda is our grading practices document. This is an item that our curriculum folks have been working on for the past semester, ever since back in the spring, with our schools, our administrators, teachers, various committees. And so I'm going to ask them to share with you the results of this, and Mr. Boone will start us off.
Good evening, Chairman Lutz, Superintendent Booker, members of the Board of Education. I'm here tonight. Everybody's presented something exciting. I guess that time's over. No, I do want to take just a few minutes and talk to you about what we have been doing with our grading guidelines that we provide schools so that they can accurately and consistently grade student work. The recommended changes that come to this document come as a result of the State Board of Education changing our state grading system in grades 9 through 12 to a 10-point grading scale, as well as this board following suit to go to a 10-point grading scale in grades 3 through 8. So the recommended changes include leveling all three levels. Those numbers that you'll see in that document, and I think you have a copy of it, the numbers in that document are set to represent that change to that 10-point grading scale. Also, as our committees met and did this work over the summer, elementary has chosen to take homework out of the calculation of grades for a number of different reasons. The high school committee, as well as the high school principals and a number of people dealing with the high schools, has recommended that we change from 65% for tests, the testing area, the big major tests where they do 2 each grading period, to go to 60% and then take that percentage and add it to classwork and homework to keep those students, give them credit for what's going on in the classroom and being present and being involved while they're in class. And then we added some language to clarify to do some clarification for plagiarism, grade recovery, and the reteach retest process. So that's, I think, the document that you have a copy of. Are there any questions about grading guidelines?
I have one.
Yes, Mr. Dedman.
Just curious, Mr. Boone, what was the rationale with the homework not included in the lower grades? What were some of the problems that they foresee?
I'm going to yield, I think.
I'll share with you some of the conversation around that. The committee felt very strongly that it was really more a reflection sometimes of what a parent can do at home or what a child does with parent support at home, not a true reflection of what a child can do independently. And so they felt like that created issues of unfair grading sometimes in their classrooms. We had a wide representation of teachers and schools on our committee, so our Title I schools felt very strongly about that, as well as our non-Title I schools. Came up in our first committee meeting, and because it was a real change for us, we asked everybody to go back and poll their staffs and every teacher they knew, and then to come back at the next meeting. And they were unwavering that they just felt like homework is important, and they still want to assign homework and have kids do that practice at home, but that it should not be a part of their grade.
Yes, Mr. Howell.
Mr. Boone, I got a quick question. I'm thumbing through your draft here, looking for a particular section, and found it on the second to the last page. It says any student, this high school speaking, any student who makes below a 75 is eligible to retest and may make no higher than a 75 on the retest. So if they make below a 75, they can retest and make no higher than a 75. Am I reading that correct?
You are, and reteach retest is really designed more so for students who bomb a test, who came in ill-prepared or prepared inadequately and, didn't do well. That's really the design behind reteach retest.
And I guess my struggle with that as a board member, a parent, is that we can tell a student who studies his hind end off and makes a 75, you get a 75. But a student who goes out and parties, doesn't decide to prepare, doesn't study, doesn't pay attention in class, doesn't do his homework, whatever, that makes a 50 or a 40, you can come in and make the same grade, up to the same grade that a student who studied his rear end off the first time. Does that mean?
Well, you're talking about situational things that it's hard to determine what a student did in preparation for a test. And that's what our teachers do in the classroom is they try to determine that and work with students as we go. So teachers know what students are putting forth a genuine effort and what students, do not.
When did it used to be 80 that you could get, we decided to change it back to 75.
Well, we moved it as a result of it was 85.
It was 85.
And we moved it as a result of the 10-point grading scale, correct.
Can I ask another question? And I'm not trying to be argumentative. I'm trying to figure out what happened in this world, in America, when what you made is no longer what you made. We'll give you another shot to all these employers that were sitting in here, and Mr. Tony's sitting over there now with Firestone. I think it'd be quick to tell you that if you miss a week of work, they're not going to say, okay, we'll come back in, we'll let you make that up. And I worry about what we tell our kids if we set the precedence that, now you can make a 75, do whatever you want to the night before, come back in. And I understand there are students that need that, they need that extra, whatever that might, 2 days, 3 days. They might need to see something in testing before they can figure out how to take the test. But it just seems like we're just, as much as we're setting them up for success, we're setting them up for failure.
A lot of times what happens with these kids that get to 75, they have no one at home that is helping with their grades or anything. And they come in to take this test, and if you start failing a kid and giving them what they make the first 2 weeks of school, you're going to have a problem the entire year, the entire semester. So I think that's half of the rationale behind the reteach, retest to help those other particular kids. And most teachers know if, to answer your question earlier about a kid screwing up and going out partying, I mean, that kind of kid is not going to benefit from that anyway.
Well, my question is, what changes in 2 days? If you can take a test and make a 50, and then you come back and take it in 2 days and make a 75, what changed? Did the teacher all of a sudden see that the student needed some extra instruction and they gave it to him?
They're doing it's reteach, retest. So the student is, the teacher is analyzing what part of the test the student didn't understand. They're meeting with the student after school or during a planning period or before school or sometime to help the student understand whatever the process or material or whatever they didn't get, and then come back in and do, and it's usually a different assessment that the teachers give. But I'll say two things. One, a 75 now, we've all got to get in that mindset. A 75 is now a C. Yeah. So it's a middle C. The second thing is we're providing guidelines to teachers that then have to apply guidelines to, and this is what I was getting to a minute ago. I didn't do a very good job of getting to it, but to a variety, I mean a wide variety of situational, of situations. And that's what we're just providing guidelines so that we help keep the playing field consistent for students, so that our teachers don't vary their practices all that differently. You've got one Math 3 teacher that does it one way, and you've got another math teacher that does it another way. It causes some lack of fairness there. So we're just trying to keep what's the terminology I'm supposed to use, arbitrary and capricious. We're trying to see, she's proud of me. We're trying to stay, fairly consistent. That's their guidelines.
I just don't want to see us get to the point where we're turning out C students and employers or colleges are getting our students going, how are you ever a C student? Or the other question is, do we track how many teachers are having to reteach, retest? I mean, do we know that? Is there a way to tell that? Do we even look at that?
That is something we could track. To my knowledge, no. Teachers probably, I guess, some teachers keep their own data, but it's in a grade book, so that would be one way that we could potentially pull that data.
That's all.
Okay.
Mr. Collier.
Like Mr. Howell, I'm just kind of glancing through this for the first time, and I'm reading on the second page where you list a host of major projects, major papers, and all to count 60%, quizzes 20%, and daily homework 20%. What's end of grade test count then, if that adds up to 100?
The end of course tests, this is for each grading period. That's what this 100% calculation. Yes. So these are guidelines for students to grade for teachers to grade the student work for that grading period. The end of course test then counts. It counts 25% of the student's overall grade after you factor in those three grading periods.
I may not have read down in there to see that it still counts 25%. Okay,
it does.
So that's the 6-week formula.
It does.
And I had further on down on page 3, you're changing the wording of homework not to be more than 15%, but can now be not more than 20%. So you're doing away with homework in the elementary school and raising the opportunity to add more weight to homework in the high school.
Well, I don't want to speak for the elementary committee. I don't think they're doing away with it. I think they're doing away
I guess
with
as
the calculation.
As calculation of the grade.
But,
okay. And I agree with your statement earlier about parents doing homework.
Right.
So I agree with that statement.
Yes, the committee and the principals felt as though that it's not just homework, it's classwork, a daily type of assignment. That's in combination for that 20%. 20% would also be for quizzes, which are smaller
and that
tests.
leads back into the previous question, is where does this 20% apply in the 6 weeks percentages? I'm kind of, you've got 100% lined up here in the 6 weeks, but I don't see homework in there. Is homework somewhere in that?
For which level?
High school. On page 2, you spell out 60% quizzes, 20% and daily class grades, and or homework 20%. Okay.
Right.
All right.
And
Like I
the
said, I glanced
heading
at it
for that
quick, so I
section.
apologize for just kind of skimming through it.
The heading for that section is grade composition. When you go to page 3, where it's talking about that 20%,
Right.
the heading for that is just talking about homework assignments.
exactly.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry for that confusion if that's not. Maybe
and
that's a
and
place
again,
for
this
us
is
to
the first
adjust
I've
our
looked at it,
headings.
so. And I understand the 85 was previously a B, but with the new schedule, you're reducing it 75. I mean, a C was previously C, so you're staying consistent with keeping
Correct.
it a C on the retest, back to Mr. Howell's point.
Correct.
Okay, I apologize for talking out loud, Mr. Chair, but,
That's quite all right, Mr. Collier.
okay. That's all.
Mr. Boone's a good listener.
Yes, sir. All right.
Thank you, Chairman Lutz.
Any other questions? I don't think so, Mr. Boone.
Okay. Well, I actually do get to present something. They said if I pass that, I could present something that is at least an exciting opportunity. So,
Mr. Boone, I'm worried everybody left you.
I know. That was my backup. I'm going to ask Sheila Wyatt, principal at the Gaston Early College High School, to join me. And the Gaston Early College High School is in process of completing an exciting opportunity. They're applying for a cooperative, innovative high school funding. And the Cooperative Innovative High School is an opportunity for a school to present an innovative program of study and pair that with an institution of higher learning to help students earn a high school diploma, an associate degree, and up to 2 years of college within 5 years, and it provides additional funding for that. Again, the target of a cooperative innovative high school are students who are at risk of dropping out, students who can who accelerate, they would benefit from acceleration, and first-generation college attendees, which is what our early college is targeting on as we speak. It's like I said, it's an application-based program, and Ms. Wine and her staff are in process of completing that application. The funding is provided by the General Assembly, and the amount is in excess of $300,000. These are recurring funds, so once your application is approved, then those funds come annually. Now, program enhancements for the Gaston Early College High School, and these are on top of what they're already doing. They will be able to provide internship and apprenticeship opportunities, additional college visits. They already do college visits off of their campus, but this would allow for additional college visits for students. Off-campus learning experiences like community service, things of that nature. Textbooks and other resources that students need in their classrooms, as well as professional development for teachers. So this is a great opportunity for the Gaston Early College High School. It's really no risk. They apply for it. I think we'll get it. But if we don't, the Gaston Early College High School continues to do what they're doing, which is a great opportunity for our students as is. Yes, ma'am.
I've got a couple questions. When is the grant due, and when will you know?
September 15th.
Okay.
In the spring.
And I'm
And then you-
assuming that this grant, that this type of program, where it's the only one eligible? Okay. Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
And excuse me, this would go in effect for next year, or if we get accepted or get the grant, will we start some of this stuff this year?
No, its funding would be for 16.
For 2016? Okay,
Yes.
that's, okay. Mr. Howe?
It seems like last year, correct me if I'm wrong, because I probably am, we had to approve some adjustment in time, maybe some seat time based on college visits and all that. Are we going to have to go back and revisit that? Because I see there's additional college visits, off-campus learning experiences, internship, apprenticeship opportunities. I'm assuming y'all are getting ready to tell me.
Yep, you're correct, Mr. Howe. The board did have to give us a waiver last year. The State Board of Education then approved a policy that covered it and made it going forward. And so this would not require any action on the board. It would just be enhancing the program that we have. And I'll add, while I'm speaking to this, this is an outgrowth of Ms. Wyatt's work with NC New Schools. We're one of the few early colleges that had not participated in this program in the past. And as we were doing professional development with them and they were working with her on how our early college operated, Mr. Boone, Dr. Cook, Ms. Matson, and I visited 2 other early colleges. Ms. Wyatt visited those, and we just were doing peer-to-peer review and saw this was an opportunity that we had not exercised in the past. So it's just one of those, we hope, found opportunities to expand what we're doing at the early college.
Yes, Ms. Roberts?
You did say this would be recurring money?
That's correct.
As best anything can be at this time.
Any other questions? Mr. Upchurch?
Comment on, I've sat here and listened to all the curriculum over and over. Mr. Cook, you're a very fortunate man because I've watched the curriculum department change, and of course you came on board, and you have some very strong, hardworking people out there, and I think you're very fortunate. And I think I'm looking forward to seeing our curriculum department really move, and of course with our board members too here. I think y'all will do a great job this year.
Thank you.
May I just say
Yes,
one
Ms.
thing
Guthrie?
while we have the principal present? I just want you to know that I've enjoyed the graduation there at Gaston College. It was really wonderful. So thank you very much for all that you do for the children there.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Upchurch. I appreciate that, and I do. Each and every day, when I come to Gaston County, I think about how fortunate I am and how fortunate I've been to work with such qualified, great people. I'm looking forward to that, and I hope that you see that they are being highlighted for being the leaders in each of their respective areas that they are. I think that's important, so thank you. That concludes our items for information. Our next item, very excited to share with you, is an action item. It's One District, One Book, and we wanted to focus on literacy over the past year and moving forward. And so we want Gaston County Schools to be known for our innovativeness, our focus, our intentionality on literacy. So I have with me this evening 3 principals who are going to come up, and they're going to present to you an idea that they have come up with through other members on our district-wide literacy committee. And to begin that will be Ms. Roxanne Jemison, principal at Lowell Elementary. Then we've got Ms. Rebecca Huffstetler, principal at Southwest. And then finally, Mr. Brian Denton, who is the new principal at Cramerton Middle. So I'm going to let them turn it over to them.
Good evening. We get the privilege tonight to share with you an idea we have for a literacy initiative for Gaston County Schools District. The initiative is called One District, One Book. And what I would like for you to picture is every pre-K through 8th grade family in our district reading the same book at home, together, at the same pace across the district. Imagine if we could engage our families in this type of shared reading experience. If you can imagine that, then you're picturing One District, One Book. That's the picture for One District, One Book, which has not yet been done in Gaston County schools. But another program on a smaller scale called One School, One Book has been initiated. In 2013-14, Chapel Grove Elementary initiated a program called One School, One Book. This program was designed to create a shared reading experience within a single elementary school community. That school community involved our students, their families, their teachers, their bus drivers, their custodians, their principals, their office staff. Everyone in our school community was reading the same book. We kicked it off with a school-wide assembly where we introduced the children to the book through portraying the first chapter and having our teachers act that out. We got them excited about getting a book that they would get to keep and getting to read every night at home and come to school and talk about it the next day. And as you can see, they weren't looking for the bus to arrive or their car to arrive. They were already reading their books before they were picked up that day. Our families were just as excited as our students. This is a picture of some families reading at home at night, and our PTO Facebook page, they started posting when they were reading at home and sharing the excitement with one another. And then when students returned the next day, we shared that experience with them. We did not let this interfere with our regular instruction. We spent about 10 minutes each morning talking about the chapter we had read the night before. So we became like a school-wide book club. Everybody could talk about the same book. Children were asking me. I was asking them about the chapter the night before. But one of the stories that I'd like to share with you about how excited and how on board our families and staff got with this initiative is my custodian, Mary. When I was at Chapel Grove, I said, "Mary, have you been reading your book?" And she said, "Well, I wasn't until so-and-so asked me about a chapter. And so I went home last night and I'm caught up with everyone now." That excitement spread throughout our community. And so after doing it at Chapel Grove, there was no way I could not do it again. And so this year I initiated that same program at Lowell and had just as a great experience as we had at Chapel Grove, and having parents, teachers, students say, "When can we do this again?"
So Roxanne doesn't get to stop the story there because it just started with Roxanne, but it doesn't end there. Because what we saw was not only her kids were excited, but as her principal colleagues, we got excited about Roxanne, what Roxanne was doing there. And I know that when Dr. Abernathy and Dr. Baltnight put together our administrators conference, they kind of bring in folks with best practices. And actually that summer, Roxanne shared what she was doing at Chapel Grove. And so not only did it become something that happened at Chapel Grove, but it grew to Lowell, and she took it with her. It went to Bessemer City Central. It went to Sadler Elementary. And so last school year, each of those schools participated in One School, One Book. I'm fortunate enough to have students at Southwest who have attended those schools, and so they already want to know when we were going to read our school book together, which kind of got us thinking. If it can happen on an elementary school level, why can't it happen on a middle school level? And if we can't just do it in one community, why can't we do it district-wide? And so our recommendation, and when I say our, it is bigger than us and it is bigger than this group of folks from the instruction department, but teachers, principals, members of the instructional team have a recommendation that for the 2015-2016 school year, in the month of March, we actually have a One District, One Book initiative that we would like to see take place in our school district this coming year.
We hope in doing that to involve the whole district in that shared reading experience that Ms. Jemison just referred to, and that it will promote a love of reading across the whole county, and not just with our students, but with their families, and again, with the broader community in Gaston County. We want to involve them in this literacy initiative as well. The timeline that we would have in mind for that would start certainly with you, with your approval of this idea, and then the K-8 Literacy Committee will work together to select the books that we will use, one for the K-5 and one for 6-8. We want to especially establish partnerships with the business community, many of whom were represented here tonight, in terms of their involvement with the initiative itself, but also perhaps with financial support and purchasing the books, which would be the next phase of that. We think it's very important to be sure that we can give every student a copy of that same book to use. And then our team will work together to prepare the program, and that will be the material so that to each school that participates, or to all the schools, since they'll all participate, they'll receive sort of a ready-made package of material. So this will not put any undue burden on teachers or other staff at the school level. And we want to be sure that the community is aware of what we're doing through great publicity and building with our communication staff within the district and utilizing local resources. One of the things we've talked about is making sure that all students have the opportunity to, if someone can't read the book to them at home, that they could perhaps listen to it. And we've talked about having board members and superintendents and mayors across the community recording chapters of the book so that we really tie everyone into it and build a sense of excitement so that when March rolls around and it's Read Across America Month, we can launch this program with a great level of success. Any questions?
Questions? So it'll be 2 books, one on the elementary level and one on the middle school?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yes, Mr. Collier.
Is this going to be required reading?
It was not required. In fact, I had a parent question me about that. It was not required. It was optional, so there's no kind of grade attached to
That was my
it.
next question.
It's just for enjoyment, so it was just a way to promote reading.
Is there something you do to promote it, extra credit or anything like that?
No, there was no grade attached to it at all, or any extra credit. It was just a way to promote a love of reading across the community.
Now, teachers or principals have trouble somewhere getting a kid excited about participating. Can they offer some incentive? Do they have the autonomy to do such thing? Or
We didn't come across a child that didn't want to participate. Now, I know every family did not, but what we did is we tried to have those safety nets for the ones who the parents weren't reading at home. Mr. Denton shared that we had recorded chapters so that they could listen at school. The teachers' excitement at school were keeping the students engaged. And I know that was at an elementary level. There may be some things that we need to put in place to make sure that happens at all levels.
I just can't imagine some rebel somewhere saying, if it's not a grade, I'm not doing it, you know. I know how my son can be sometimes.
Right, yeah.
Anyway, I just, it's wonderful, just wonderful, but I'm just wondering how you get 100% participation when it's not required or graded.
And it wasn't 100% participation, I'm sure, at home, although it seemed that way because everyone was talking about it. But one of the things we did with One School, One Book is every morning when I talked about the school-wide book clubs, I did, and what we plan to do for principals is have these questions prepared. I read a daily question over the intercom as part of our morning meeting time. It was discussed in class, and so that was engaging all students in that particular discussion. For those students who had not read at home, the teacher had that time where they could read or listen in class to the recording on the computer, or in some cases, the teacher read the chapter aloud. So we had those safety nets in place to try to make sure all students were involved. At least if they wanted to be involved in those discussions, they came prepared.
The last question is, who has the daunting task of choosing the book?
Our committee.
Did you get any feedback from parents who didn't like a book previously? Because I can't imagine that some parent somewhere is going to not like the book chosen.
Yes, I did this year. Had a parent call me after the very first day. I did not have any at Chapel Grove, but this year I had a parent call me the first day and just burst my bubble because we were so excited. And so his comment to me was, have you read, who chose this book? And I said, well, I did, and a team of my teachers. Have you read the book? Yes, sir, I have. He was upset about a brother and sister in the book calling the other sibling, calling them stupid. So he did not want to read that word out loud to his child, and I gave him some options of ways he could handle that, or that he could opt not to read the book. And he actually chose to read the book. Later I saw him and talked to him about it. I said, are you enjoying the book? And he reluctantly said, yeah. So there's situations that are going to occur.
Yes, and you've seen some of the members of the committee tonight, and we appreciate the word daunting because we know it's a big responsibility for the opportunity that we're doing. But what we have chosen and what you're committed to is using the lens of kindness as the theme of our book, tying into what we do with Rachel's Challenge, tying into what we teach every day, going back to what Mr. Thomas said that our community needs from us. And so under that lens is the umbrella that we're using to vet and pick our books.
I say daunting because, you want the book to be interesting, but you don't want it so vanilla that people aren't interesting. But, in our politically correct society we live in, you're going to offend somebody. And, I just don't know how you pick a book out that doesn't offend somebody and is entertaining and fun to read. That is a tough job. And that's good luck.
Mr. Dedman?
Hey, all my questions were answered in that long.
Okay. All right. Mr. Howe?
I would like to read one of the chapters I would like to do that.
Mr. Chair, I see that this is an action item on our agenda tonight, so I really have two questions as it pertains to action item. One, will the book be offered in Spanish for the parents of Spanish-speaking students? Or is it going to be an opportunity for those students to teach their parents English? Just a good question. Second question is, because this is an action item, what is the cost? Because my daughter wanted to go to Europe for summer vacation. It was a great idea, but I didn't vote on it until I knew how much it cost, and she got voted down.
I think what the committee had stated to us earlier was they're trying to get involvement with the business community, hoping that there will be no cost to the actual school system in the end, but I think they can't really say that right now.
So will the motion, and maybe I'm getting ahead of myself, will the motion tonight be in the form of it's an approval to go ahead with the process of going through with this until we know how much it costs? Because I don't see how I could, as a board member, say yes or no to something until I know how much it's going to cost us as a district.
Exactly, and we won't have a figure. We're giving them the okay to start the process of this concept tonight. I think. I mean, if I'm wrong, Mr. Cook,
the idea is
feel free
that we
to
want
correct
to
me.
pursue the idea,
Yes, sir.
and then to certainly put the timeline, put the cost, put all the
Yes, sir.
specifics to it. So it's an idea right now that's been, one school, and we want to implement it district-wide, and then we'll go through that process of forming and answering all the questions. So yes,
Okay.
sir.
Thank you, Mr. Cook. Yes, Ms. Guthrie?
First of all, I think it's an excellent way to be inclusive of our district and to involve everyone. We always talk about ways to get parent and community involvement. This is an outstanding way of doing it, and what better way than to promote literacy? Secondly, you talked about putting together a packet. I call them toolkits. If you're going to put together a toolkit, maybe one or two book reviews of the book so that parents will have something to read prior to, as well as one or two hooks to get those students who are not very interested and highly motivated into participating in the project. Provide those hooks there and make them want to maybe pick up the book and read the first chapter or the annotation in the book. This is a wonderful idea, and if it takes my making a motion to make this happen, I am going to do that right now. Because we want to raise the literacy rate here in Gaston County. And I haven't heard anything tonight but wonderful, wonderful reports coming from this instructional and curriculum department. And this is what we have always asked, wanted, and expected. You are giving it to us tonight. And I want you to know you have my support. So if I need to make a motion, if I'm in order, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
Let me know.
Would you like to put that in the form of a motion?
Yes, sir, I'm going to right now.
Okay.
I would like to make the motion that Gaston County Schools, or that the board gives the Department of Gaston County Schools the opportunity to pursue this initiative, the one district, one book for the 2015-16 school year.
Thank you, Ms. Guthrie. I have a second from Ms. Cherry. Is there any further discussion? All right. Seeing no discussion, all in favor? And that is unanimous. Thank you, Mr. Cook.
Thank you.
The next item is annual surplus report, and I think Mr. Holler will be coming to the front.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the board, and Superintendent Booker. It is that time of the year where we bring to you for information the annual surplus report. And I'm pleased to tell you that it's gone up. We've sold more items and been able to recoup some money for those surplus items. So that information is before you, and just entertain any questions you may have.
Any questions from anyone? Yes, sir, Mr. Howell.
What were the items sold? No, I'm just kidding.
They're all there.
I don't know if people in the county know where that surplus stuff is sold at. I was actually eyeballing some things from other surrounding counties. Govdeals.com.
Yeah, it goes on the website.
Govdeals.com
I think
is
the
where you can
.com's
find
correct.
that. But if you go to GovDeals, just Google it, and then you can look at what that stuff is selling for. And I think the more we can let our community know it's out there, maybe the more stuff we could sell. We've got a couple of high schools we'd like to replace, sell those at a higher rate, of course. But I just wanted to put that out there so they would know where that stuff is and maybe help drive up some of our sales.
Thank you very much.
And Mr. Howe, you also point out it is done by a third party, so it protects us from someone declaring something surplus and trying to purchase it for their own use. It has to go through that party. They also guarantee the payment for us.
That's correct.
Don't see any questions.
Thank you very much.
Everybody's proud that you're getting rid of your junk.
Thank you.
The next item on the agenda is a back-to-school update, and I think we have two distinguished people coming forward.
Good evening, Chairman Lutz, Vice Chairman Ramsey, and members of the board, and Superintendent Booker. It is a pleasure to bring to you the back-to-school update for the 2015-2016 academic year. As you know, it is back-to-school time in Gaston County, and Monday, August 24th is the big day, the first day of school. When the morning bell rings on August 24th, approximately 32,000 students in pre-kindergarten through high school will walk through the doors of our 55 schools to start the new year. Mm-hmm. This 32,000 figure includes more than 2,100 seniors in the class of 2016 who are already looking to the future, and approximately 2,400 kindergarten students who are beginning their K-12 education journey. We have 3,700 employees in Gaston County Schools. This includes approximately 1,800 classroom teachers for this year, and more than 50 of them are new first-year teachers. This week, our teachers return to school today. This week, as we anticipate the first day of school, our schools are conducting orientation programs for students and parents. Registration is taking place. Teachers and school employees are involved in staff meetings and preparing our classrooms, and we are getting ready for our annual back-to-school convocation for employees on Thursday. We would like to let parents know that if they still need to register their child for school, they may do so this week. Extended hours for registration here at the central office are in place, and you see those hours on the screen. And we encourage parents who need to register their child to please do so before school starts on Monday. Now I would like to present an overview of information for parents and the community. We have principals at 13, new principals at 13 schools this year. They are Carr Elementary, Rebecca Duncan; Chavis Middle, Justin Beam; Cherville Elementary, Sean Hubers; Costner Elementary, Lana Beam; Cramerton Middle, Brian Denton; Gardner Park Elementary, Jamie Wallace. Kaiser Elementary, Lorinda Brucey. McCaddenville Elementary, Linda Neely. Pinewood Elementary, Kathy Withers. Sadler Elementary, James Ramir. South Point High School, Gary Ford. Warlick Academy, Kurt Hovis, and Yorkchester Middle School, Amy Holbrook. And at this time, I would like to introduce Dr. Kim Maddox, our Assistant Superintendent for Human Resources, who would like to provide a little information about employees.
Mr. Chairman, members of the board, Superintendent Booker, thank you for the opportunity to share an update of where we are as a district in terms of securing the most highly qualified employees that we can to serve our students. In April, May, and June of this year, Gaston County Schools received over 170 retirements and resignations. July 1st, we had 115 vacancies. By the end of July, we had 49 vacancies, or 10 fewer than the previous year. As of today, we have 20 vacancies in Gaston County. And this is truly a tribute to our administrators, our directors, and our human resources staff working together long hours at night and on the weekends, and making sure we're doing everything we can to have the most highly qualified employees working with our students. So hats off to our administrators and our HR staff, and thank you for the opportunity to share that. And as Todd shared, we have 53 new teachers that we're going to be taking care of and making sure that they're successful and that they want to stay in Gaston County. Any other questions? Thank you.
Thank you very much.
There are two important items that I would like to mention related to academics. First, we have heard about the 10-point grading scale that will be in effect for this school year. That is a 10-point grading scale for students in grades 3 through 12th grade. We're also very excited about our focus, more attention being placed on literacy to help children to improve reading and comprehension skills. The summer reading camps have been a success for us this year, as we have heard this evening, and we're very excited about the efforts to put our community-wide reading campaign into place. In the area of school nutrition, the price for student lunch meals increases by 10 cents to $2.60 for elementary schools and $2.70 for middle and high schools. The adult lunch price increases by 25 cents to $3.75. Again, this year, breakfast and lunch meals are being provided free of charge to all students at 20 schools. The free meals are made possible through a program sponsored by the USDA Food and Nutrition Service. In the area of technology, the Bring Your Own Device, BYOD program that began last school year has expanded this year to 16 schools. With wireless internet technology and access in all of our schools, the program makes it possible for students to bring their own mobile computing devices to school for use in the classroom. Additionally, we are continuing our efforts to provide our students and teachers with the latest technology to enhance the classroom environment. A few notes about school safety. Through a state grant and ongoing partnership with local law enforcement, a resource officer will be assigned again this year to each school. Additionally, a buzz-in entry system is being installed at each school and central department office building. The camera system heightens security by controlling access to the building. It is in addition to the identity management visitor check-in system already in use at all campuses. In the area of bus transportation, 8 new school buses were added to the Gaston County fleet this year to replace the district's oldest buses. Gaston County operates 210 yellow school buses and 47 white activity buses. All buses were inspected over the summer, and they are equipped with security cameras and GPS to ensure student and driver safety. Professional development is a very important area. This summer, to prepare for the new school years, teachers participated in summer professional development programs that focused on ways to enhance teaching and learning. Educators took advantage of programs offered by Georgia Pacific Foundation, North Carolina Center for the Advancement of Teaching, Discovery Education, Pinnacle Leadership, and other organizations. Additionally, some 1,200 teachers attended the annual Teaching and Learning Conference held last week at Gaston College. We are also very excited about our new school options. Progress is being made on our new school options approved by the Board of Education in March. Architects are working to develop construction plans for the new elementary school in West Gastonia and the new middle school in Stanley. Groundbreaking for the new schools is expected to take place in the next 6 months. Additionally, we are continuing to work on plans to establish a STEAM, science, technology, engineering, arts, and mathematics magnet school for grades 3 through 5. Additionally, our maintenance personnel spent time this summer cleaning all school buildings and making repairs. We had 16 significant projects underway this summer that included sewer and water line improvements, roofing work, and life safety projects. We want to make students and parents aware that our Back to School Information Guide, they will receive a copy of the information guide next week, and it includes important information about back to school as well as the student code of conduct. And we encourage students and parents to review the information in the guide very carefully. And we also invite our parents, our students, and our community to stay connected with Gaston County Schools by visiting our district website for all of the back-to-school information. We want you to stay connected with us by liking us on Facebook, following us on Twitter, watching us on YouTube and Channel 21, and downloading our mobile app, which is a free download from the Google Play and Apple iTunes online store. And we want to wish everyone a great new school year, and we look forward to Monday as we celebrate the first day of school in Gaston County Schools.
Thank you, Mr. Hagan. Any questions for Todd? Mr. Howell?
Not really a question. Great presentation. I enjoyed it. This is more of a comment about the app. It's on my phone. I use it religiously. I hate to say it, but I do. Probably more than I use Facebook, because it's got some great information on there. Just a kind of one, I want parents to know that because it's really good. But two, is there a way to integrate that app, and just something to think about, to where we can see the school calendar specific to that school a little more? It seems like when you click on it, it takes you back to the district calendar, which maybe doesn't show everything, or a way to link the school page on the app to maybe their Facebook page where it maybe has a little more information. Just something to think about. But it's an amazing app. If a parent out there doesn't have it, shame on them. They should get it. It's really good.
We launched that app at the beginning of the school year last year, one of the very first districts to do that in the state, and we've gotten some very positive comments from that mobile app along with our redesigned website, so that's something we certainly can look at.
Okay, thank you, Todd.
Thank you.
Any other comments? Thank you very much. Our next item would be the budget update, and I'm going to ask Mr. Hoskins to come forward. Mr. Hoskins, please don't start out, there's no news.
I'm sorry. Okay. Thank you, Chairman Lutz, Vice Chairman Ramsey, members of the board, Superintendent Booker. I'm here to update you on the budget, so I won't be long. Looking at the budget calendar, we did make a couple of adjustments to the budget calendar. We originally anticipated a July or August approval of the state budget. We've moved that to August or September. And after that state budget is approved, we will bring the budget here for approval. We originally had that at the September 19th meeting. We're sort of wavering on that a little bit, and so we have that September or October. But as you know, the House and the Senate both have their versions of the budget. They both have appointed a conference or a committee to try to resolve the differences in those two budgets, and those differences are very large. There are about $340 million difference between the Senate budget and the House budget, and that is a lot of ground to make up and try to compromise between the two governmental agencies. And as you know, a budget was not approved prior to June 30th. So on June 29th, what we had was a continuing resolution that was passed by the General Assembly. And what we're now calling that is CR1. That provided us with funding through August 14th. Well, a budget was not adopted prior to August 14th, so we now have CR2, which provides the same amount of funding, but it extends the period of time until August 31st. And as a reminder of what that continuing resolution covers, it provides us with the same level of funding that we had last year with the following exceptions. And there's really 4 exceptions. 2 are positive and 2 are not. The 2 that are positive is that it does provide us with funding for growth in students, or ADM, what we call average daily membership. Also, it does provide for beginning teachers, those with 0 to 4 years of experience, to have an increase in salary from $33,000 to $35,000 a year. The 2 negative items are that it does not include any of the non-recurring funding that we received last year, and that includes $25 million for teacher assistance and funding for driver's education. So one thing that's happened over the past week or so is that the Senate has agreed to remove a couple of fairly contentious items from the budget debate, and that is the redistribution of local state or local sales tax, and also some Medicaid provisions. So they've taken that off the budget discussion. They're going to vote on that separately, so hopefully that will help move the budget agreement or discussions on a little quicker. And we continue to have the primary differences on our side, the education side, because keep in mind we're about $8.2 billion of a $21.7 billion budget. But the main differences on the education side are teacher assistance, class size ratios. Those 2 are really tied together, and also driver's education. So again, I think I presented this at the last presentation. You can see that the difference in the House and the Senate is about $344 million, and that's what we're trying to have that conference committee try to bridge that gap. So with that, that's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Hoskins. Any questions for Mr. Hoskins?
Mr. Chairman, I'll add 2 points to what Gary has said. We have teacher assistants coming to work. They are coming to work. They have been told that they will be working. Mr. Hoskins has worked to try and create a reserve to facilitate what the budget may ultimately end up to do with us. Most of you know, but just so our listeners know, we only have teaching assistants in our kindergartens and then 1 extra per school. We cannot afford further cuts in teacher assistants. So we will work to do that. So every one of those folks I've run into in the grocery store or Walmart where I have said, please come to work. You are a valuable member of our education community. Second, driver's education. We are continuing to provide driver's education as a district. Numerous districts have suspended or said they won't do this. What we are operating that through August 31st, we will continue. We are still registering children, but after August 31st, and once the budget is done, we'll have to look at where we are. But as these continuing resolutions come, we're just adjusting that. But as of today, we are still registering children. We're putting a disclaimer to say we don't know what the budget may be, but we know we're a large provider of that service, and we just can't stop and start. So we're continuing. Anyone who's in the classroom will get behind the wheel, and we'll go from there. So that was the direction we believe that you had given to us, and that's what we're operating under. I can promise you, Dr. Baltnight stays with me, and we'll come by saying, remember, we're doing this. Because we're working with our vendor, but we believe it's a service that we provide, and the way our attorney has interpreted it tells us we shall provide that. So until we are instructed differently, we will continue to provide that service to our community. Just wanted you all to know this.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Booker. Any other questions? Thank you, Mr. Hoskins.
Thank you.
We look forward to you coming back.
I won't delete this presentation.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much. The next item on the agenda is the consent agenda. If everyone's had a time to take a look at that, I will need that in a form of a motion. That is an action item.
Make a motion to adopt the consent agenda.
Thank you, Mr. Ramsey. I have a motion for the consent agenda. Do I have a second? Ms. Mr. Collier Guthrie, thank you very much. Any discussion for the consent agenda? Seeing no discussion, all in favor? And that is unanimous. The next item on the agenda that we kind of moved around a little bit, but I would like to recognize our two committees to get a report, the Curriculum Committee and the Operations Committee. And I would like to recognize Ms. Guthrie at this time, if she has anything that her committee would like to bring to the board, information-wise. Thank you, Ms. Guthrie. Ms. Roberts?
Please excuse my notes. It's going to be a lot of duplication of what we've already heard tonight, so bear with me. Dr. Cook gave an overview of areas of focus for the Curriculum Instructional Committee for the 2015-16 school year. Some of the focus areas include K-8 literacy, K-8 math, increased graduation rate, K-12 support, innovative programs and partnerships and aligning new resources. Mr. Duncan, Director of Athletics, shared how instruction and athletics are connected. He talked about the NCAA requirements, academic plans, and coaches' guidelines and responsibilities. Mr. Buchanan shared with the committee about the Educators in the Workplace program that allowed 11 middle school counselors and 10 high school CDCs to participate, as we saw that tonight. It was an amazing experience with different opportunities and some great personal contacts established between our schools and businesses. Also, as we saw tonight, Ms. Edwards presented an update on the summer reading camps and shared the results for each grade level, which were awesome. Gaston County Schools offered an AP Writing Institute. Students received assistance with writing papers that they can use when applying to colleges. A recommendation is being made tonight for One District, One Book, which we okayed that. Our goals are to involve our entire district in a reading experience, promote the love of reading across our district, and to involve the Gaston community. The instruction team shared professional development that has been taking place and will continue to take place to get teachers and students ready for the first day of school. The grading practices document, which you all saw tonight, as an information item, and the committee members are satisfied with this document and support the implementation.
Thank you very much. Does anyone have any questions? We covered a lot of ground on the curriculum side tonight. Yes, Ms. Cherry?
I just have one comment to add, and this is specifically to Student Support Services and Dr. Balknight and Chad Duncan. If any of y'all went to the Coaches Clinic, it was outstanding. Very, very informative, efficient, and the one thing that I definitely took away, I learned a lot, but I took away is the consistency within our system. And the other thing that I want to commend Mr. Duncan on, and whoever helped him, is the new website, the athletic website. If anybody's seen that, it is top notch. So, Dr. Balknight, thank you. Y'all have done an excellent job. And would you please thank Mr. Duncan?
Thank you. Seeing no other questions, I would like to recognize Mr. Collier for a new construction or facilities update.
Mr. Chair, I'm going to come down to the podium
Because you can.
I need some technology to help me tonight. So, I'll give our operations committee update. Myself, Mr. Devin, and Mr. Howe was there. Mr. Upchurch was out of town and wasn't able to attend, and we were had several staff members there, and more importantly, we had two architectural firms, Boomerang and LS3P. We approved the minutes from the May 26th meeting, and we heard presentations from Rick Brown and Stan Anthony from Boomerang Architects on our new elementary school in West Gastonia.
I'll show you some more of that in my report in just a minute. Also, we heard presentations from Paul Boney, the principal, David Bellamy, Marcus Moore, and Jenny McGrath of LS3P Architects on our new middle school in Stanley. Mr. Holler gave us an update on all the major summer projects at 20 different locations. And our committee also heard some concerns about athletic facilities at Hunter Huss. Staff is working on estimates for those concerns. And in addition to that, we're also requesting Dr. Balknight to report on at our next committee meeting an update on athletic facilities usage, community use, specifically community use of athletic facilities. And our next meeting will be at 4:30 on Monday, August the 31st. And now, if you'll bear with me, I'm going to give you a quick update on our 2 new schools. Okay. The first one is the new elementary school in West Gastonia. It's a 2-story design, and the first floor will be pre-K and first grade. And without reading all the information there, can y'all see the slide? Yes. Okay, all right. And you can see all the curriculum that will take place on the first floor. The second floor is Dot Guthrie's favorite place, where the library is. And it includes video production, a professional area, and office space, computer and art and music, all on the second floor. And it also has the flex spaces, as you can see. The library has an outside entrance for community use. It has approximately 200 parking spaces on the campus. There's about 40 stacking, an area to stack 40 cars, which the Department of, there's approximately 40 single stacking for cars and approximately 70 double stacking of cars on the campus, which the Department of Transportation loves when we get traffic off the streets. There are separate driveways and parking for vehicle traffic, and a separate driveway and parking for buses and staff. It features a courtyard in the area of this design. I'm going the wrong way. Okay. Here's a site plan, and I don't guess I can show a pointer, but you can see the current front of the school is on Miller Street, if you can see that on your slide. We'll have a back entrance from Floyd Street, as you see the way that it goes around, and you can see where the existing building that is sitting there is a 8-classroom addition. The one that says existing is a multi-purpose room that's right up front. There's a renovation of an 8-classroom building that we did that's sitting there that says Renov, part of the current renovation. Everything in the lighter pink is the new construction, and you can see the courtyard in the area. And this is where the architects are with the rendering right now. I have to let you know that this is subject to change, but this is currently the way they've got it located on the property. Anybody have any questions about that slide? I'm just going to kind of ask questions as we go along, okay? Here's a rendering of what the school will look like. It's very beautiful. I think it's going to be an incredible asset for that community, and we were excited in our committee to see exactly what they'd come up with for that design for that space. All right, the middle school in Stanley.
I have a question.
Okay.
You had mentioned outside access to the library.
Yes.
How are we handling community coming in and out of that facility, just as a safety issue?
I'm going to defer to staff for that one. We do the same thing at Stuart Kramer. That was part of the conditions of building Stuart Kramer, but I will let staff answer that question. Our security expert, Mr. Holler.
Thank you, Ms. Roberts. We are not quite to the point of being able to do the exact how that will work with security. A preview of that was the HVAC, the heating and air conditioning plans for the building are such that we can zone that so you can use it for, and we'll do the same thing with access. It'll be zoned so that you can open the library from the outside. It'll have an on-grade entrance, and you can walk right in to the library, and it will be zoned such that you can secure the rest of the building through a security system, and you won't be able to get in the rest of the school from the library. So Stuart Kramer is that way now. We would plan to do the same thing with the multi-purpose cafeteria part of this building so that you can use it after hours and not open up the whole rest of the building also.
Any other questions about the new elementary school? Yes, Ms. Cherry?
So the front entrance is going to be on Floyd, not on Miller? Okay.
Yes, that is correct.
Thank you.
Okay.
It's beautiful.
Oh, we were excited to see it. And all right, I'm going to move to the middle school now. It is also a two-story design. The first floor is where the library, the kitchen, and dining and multipurpose rooms are, administration's support. And without reading the slide, I'll just let y'all see that there's also a library on the second floor as well. It's a neat two-story design. We don't have a good rendering that the architects have provided us with yet. And frankly, this firm is a little bit behind the Boomerang as far as where they were in putting renderings and things together, so we don't have as pretty a picture. But you can see that the orientation of the new school is going to be at Ralph Hansel, if you're familiar with that. Let me see if I have, well, quickly, it's going to have 200 parking spaces on the campus. There's going to be about 90 single stacking for cars. Again, the Department of Transportation likes when we get traffic off the streets. The town of Stanley will like that as well. There's a separate driveway and parking for vehicle traffic versus a separate driveway and parking for bus and staff. And it features a separate gymnasium facility that's connected to the main school by an interior walkway or hall. So it is a detached building, the gymnasium. And I don't know how well you can see that, but this, like I said, is not as good a schematic because they're a little behind in getting this done. But you can see the layout where it is, and at the top of the slide you can see Ralph Hansel. That's where the school, basically the front of the school will be. And for those that are familiar with that campus, the new building is sitting on the old football field. And to the right in the middle of the slide is the gymnasium that's planned to be there. The track and football field kind of take up where some of the baseball field and, well, kind of where the old gym is in some of the existing building, if you guys are not familiar with that existing site. But this allows them to build the new building over on the new football field while leaving the old building in place. And so the athletic fields will be the last piece of this.
And Ms. Roberts, we really liked the gym on that one also because it was separate and answers the same thing you brought up about the entrance. So we like that.
Any questions about the new middle school? Mr.
Go ahead.
Okay, Mr. Howe. Or any comments from our committee?
Yeah, not necessarily a comment. The first drawing that we saw, well, I guess it is a comment. First drawing that we saw of the new elementary school was beautiful. The presentation they gave us, I think it's going to be really good. I think it's going to be a well-used building. My question for you or maybe somebody else on the committee or staff is I've heard a rumor that Duke Power's want $600,000 to move power lines, which was a major issue with Stanley Middle. Is that a true rumor? And then if you could let the rest of the board know, one of the reasons we're presenting now is because they want to be able to give something to the town of Stanley to look at and start milling over to see if they like. But is that a true rumor or false rumor?
It's what Duke has done is just done an initial analysis of what it would require to move the lines and given us a budget estimate. They would hope that they would be high on their estimate, but it was just one to confirm that we can move the lines and they would work with us to do that, and then to give us a working number, which was in line with what we had originally thought the cost could run. We do not have to require additional right-of-way. It's just reorienting those lines.
And the other thing you might want to explain, that huge lump of property at the back that looks undeveloped.
Yeah, that's a good point, Mr. Howell. I've already put the slide away, but behind the football field and behind the school, if y'all can recall where that is, how quick is that to get that back up? Okay. They actually came in with a physical model showing us the topo of the property rather than drawings. And all that green area that's on that slide right there, that is tremendous fall. It goes down into a gully. They looked at trying to locate the school there, but when you start talking about retaining walls and the amount of dirt, and you were talking a lot more than $600,000 just to cut a pad to build a school. So it was getting very, very expensive, and they really had no option except to push the building forward. But we talked about that in committee. That was a question about how close to the road that building was. But because this site is a challenge to build it while you keep the school in place, to go down that topo Mr. Howe pointed out, it is quite a ravine and quite a fall that goes down the hill back there. It's a good point, Mr. Howe. Ms. Roberts?
I have two questions. The gymnasium, what other middle school is it comparable to? The size? You know, that was one of the questions
Yes.
townspeople had.
It's going to be the nicest middle school gym, period. I mean, it will be state-of-the-art. It will meet all.
Is it about the same size as the old?
It will seat more people.
Okay.
Yes.
That's good. And the second question is, you know, I had questions about cafetorium, I guess is the way you would say.
Yes.
Cafeteria / auditorium.
We did too.
Yes, we did too, and we talked about that at length in committee. And there are actually two options that the architects are looking at that our committee charged them to do. They're looking at trying to add a stage and see what they can do as far as having a multi-use room in the gymnasium. Also, the current design for the cafeteria / multi-purpose room, they're looking at coming up with a larger space to use that, see what it would cost to make that larger and use that for multi-purpose and put a stage in as well there. And actually, there's another room on the other side of the media center to go in there as well to maybe use part of that for part of the stage. So they're going to come back with a couple options to see what we can do. If you, the only thing we have similar to that in a middle school is Cramerton, and if you go look at that, that is not a good example of what they're going to do. It will be 100% better in Stanley than what you would see in Cramerton, if anybody's familiar with Cramerton space.
That was one of our big concerns, was to make sure that there was a place that people could perform, or we could get the town could use an area that they get to. That was a big concern. So like I said, they're going to come back with something for us.
Right. Good questions.
Any other questions? Thank you,
Chair,
Mr.
that
Collier.
concludes my update.
Thank you, sir. The next item, I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Booker for superintendent comments.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. I appreciate the attention you have given to numerous items tonight. I think you can see a lot is going on in your district. One of the things I hope you saw in these presentations was the teaming that is going on. You heard committees referred to. We believe in teacher empowerment and their participation in this, our administrators being empowered to help us move this district forward. And so I just am encouraged by what we hear and what we witness every day. This week is a big week in our school system, cranking back up. It was great to be in schools today as the teachers returned. There was a lot of energy and just folks ready to go back to work and to provide education for our children. I want to thank all of you for your participation last week in numerous events. Ms. Cherry mentioned the training of our athletic folks, also the teaching and learning conference. Numerous of you attended events there, so I appreciate that support. And this Thursday is our convocation, where we will get the high schools and middle schools together in the morning, and then the elementaries in the afternoon, and invite you all to be a part of that, because that's another great kickoff where we get to really launch our year. So, Mr. Chairman, with that, I would ask for a closed session for personnel.
Thank you, Mr. Booker.
Mr. Chair.
Mr. Collier.
I'd like to make a motion for closed session for reasons of North Carolina General Statute 143-318.11, paragraph A6, for personnel.
Do I have a second? Ms. Roberts made the second. Any discussion? All in favor? It is unanimous. We'll be going into closed session. Mr. Booker.
Members of the board, Mr. Lutz, I would like to recommend the appointment of John Stauffer as the assistant principal at Cherville Elementary School.
Thank you, Mr. Booker. I need that in the form of a motion. Do I? Mr. Upchurch has made the motion. Do I have a second? Ms. Cherry seconded. Any discussion? Seeing no discussion, all in favor? And it is unanimous.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Booker. Seeing no other business, I'll entertain a motion for adjournment. Mr. Collier?
Mr. Chair, move to adjourn.
Thank you, Mr. Collier. Have a motion to have a second from Mr. Dedman. All in favor? We're adjourned.